Welcome back, everybody. Mudford and Grace here. And in our house we burn wood pellets, as you might know if you've watched some of our other videos. We have a pellet furnace, and that makes the air very dry, just like if you have a wood stove. So we have a pretty big humidifier here, and it's not working now. So our house is getting pretty dry, so we got to try to figure out what's wrong with it. And when you turn it on,
it won't work.
Yeah, you're right, it won't work. It shows the humidity level being 20.
It won't work yet.
We have it set at 65 is what we want it. No,
yeah.
Don't push it anymore, Grace. So it should be kicking on right now. The fans should be kicking on. And all
it can open like that.
Yep, it does. It opens. Those are the water containers.
Why do they have to be in the air?
Because you got to have water. It's going to put the water in the air. So it's not working, so we're going to take it apart. All we're going to use...
Are we going to use this?
Yep, hold it up. Show everybody.
See?
All we need to take this apart is just a Phillips screwdriver, and then we're going to use a voltmeter. We're going to make some checks and try to figure out what's wrong. So the humidifier that I'm working on is an AirCare brand, and it's a model 1407. And the 1407 and 1409, I believe, are the same, other than this is 1407 is stainless steel and the 1409 is faux wood paneling. Okay, we have very hard water, well water, and we have a water softener, and that's what all this is salt deposits as the water's evaporating. So the first thing we're going to do is pull the fan assemblies out. There's 3 screws. 3 screws on each fan.
What can I do to help?
Can you take a screw out of one of that screw right there?
Sure.
Go ahead and turn it this way.
This way?
Yep, just like that. Keep going. Almost there. Okay, that one's out.
There.
Now there's one here. Can you get that one?
Okay.
I'll help you get it started. Come on, get it in there. You're not in there. There you go. Turn. Turn. You getting it?
Yeah.
There you go. We got it. Good job. There's a couple more. Dad's gonna get them. Over here.
There's 2 more. Two more screws left.
Okay, our fans are loose now, but they're still connected. The wires are still holding them, so now we have to take off part of the controller here. There's 4 screws holding that.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
So here's
7,
the
8
part of the controller.
There's
Screws
8
there.
screws
A couple more here, but right now we're just going to take this cover off.
There's 8 screws here.
Okay, thank you. Set them back down here so we don't lose them. So we're going to take this cover off, and then we should be able to disconnect
What are we
it.
going to use this for?
We'll get to that in a second, hon. Leave it off. So we're going to take the rest of the screws out, get these fans out of the way. Okay, so we got all 4 screws out, and this cover pops off, and we'll set it aside. And now we can get to our fan connectors, disconnect them, and then we can get the fans right out of the way. Here, Grace, can you set those on the floor for me? Gently. Gently. Here you go. Here's the other one. Thank you. Now we're just going to take the 2 screws off that hold this controller assembly. There was actually 4, but we took 2 off with the cover. This actually had a couple more screws on the other side that I didn't see also. So there's actually 2 screws on each side and then one screw on each end. So there's 6 screws holding it. But this is where the magic happens. This is the float switch. I believe it's supposed to shut it off if the water level isn't high enough. And then also in here, it's going to, like I showed earlier, it's going to show the humidity level you're asking for, and it has a sensor that tells what the humidity level is. So that'll shut it off also. So I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check this switch to see if it's working correctly. There's 2 wires. We're just going to unhook them, and we're going to test the resistance, and we're going to trip the switch and see what happens. So I'm going to unhook the switch. Grace holding the test leads on. We're going to turn the meter on. We're going to check the resistance. Let's see. It'll be over here, the ohms. You're doing it.
I can't get them to go in.
They're not going to stay in. You're going to have to hold them. Hold them just like that. And now Dad's going to push the switch. Okay, so you can see it looks like it is working. So it's closed. When the float's up, we've got just very little resistance. So the switch is working. So that's unfortunate. That would have been an easy fix. So we're going to have to move on and see what else we can find. Okay, I have the switch pushed down with these wire cutters here. And the power is on to the unit. So we're going to see if we can get voltage. It's hard to get up, down into these connectors here, but we should have. This is an AC. Those are AC fans, so we should have 120 volts if I can make contact here, if it's working. Yeah, we're getting voltage to the switches. I am getting over 100 volts at the connectors, so that means this is working properly. So we can eliminate all this. So our problem now lies in the fans themselves. I bought a new fan, already installed it. I couldn't find a fan motor exactly the same. This one is very close, but it didn't quite fit into the casing, so I had to do some trimming, and it didn't bolt in either, so I got a zip tie and I got it in there, and it's securely in there. I got the blade back on it. You can see it spins good, not hitting anything, so it's in there good enough that it'll work. I'm going to go ahead and wire the new fan up now, and this one should work. We'll give it a shot. I'll get it all wired up and set it down, and then I'll turn the switch back on. Okay, I got it just temp wired here. We're going to go ahead and put connectors in, but I'll let you have a look-see. There we go. We are good. So I'm going to go ahead and use some nice heat shrink connectors on here. So what I did was I sat the fan motor down in, and I can see where the motor part is, the shaft is, it fits right in, but it's hitting right here because this only has one big set of windings. The old fan had 2 small sets, so it doesn't quite fit, so we modify it a little bit. I'm gonna put a notch right here and a notch right here, and it'll let it slip right down in. and then I just have to throw a zip tie around. I'm going to put a zip tie right around here, and I can get it pretty tight and it should be good. Okay, if you put your cutters in one way and then flip them over the other way and cut it, it'll make a little notch. So I got a notch there and a notch right there, and then when I put the motor in, it'll slip right into my notches, and I'll hook my zip tie right across here, and it'll hold the motor. I get the wires will be down, so the motor will be in just like that, and I'll put the blade on and it should be good to go. Okay, so I got this in here just how I want it. I got my zip tie, pretty decent sized zip tie. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it around here. See, there's two tall pieces here. I'm going to put it between them, right like that. Try to feed the other side up through like that. There we go. Now it's important to get this really in here really tight. You don't want this fan moving around. There, I think this is good. I don't think it's moving anywhere. It's pretty tight, so I'm going to go ahead now, take my fan blade, put it down in there. Get it seated all the way on. Now we're ready to put this one in, this fan in too. So we'll go ahead and work on that. Okay, so I got both fans installed. Snip this zip tie real quick. Before we get too carried away here, we're going to want to make sure that both fans are going to kick on. So I just took some tape and taped the extra wire to the side and let the wires slide down into the grooves here, and you'll see when I put it back together why I did that. Okay, so here's the bottom part of the humidifier. Those fans I just showed you, they fit down into this just a little bit. So I had to have the wires up out of the way so they don't get pinched. When we put it together, I'm going to pull the water jugs out. It's a lot easier to get together if you don't have the water jugs in.
It's backwards.
So we're just going to fit this down in. So the fans fit right down into these.
I think the volume needs to be turned up.
You can't turn the volume up when you're recording. So then, these fans fit right down into there, and we're going to make sure, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but that our float switch is working. I don't know if you can hear it. So the float is up hitting the switch. So it should kick on when I plug it in. I'm going to go ahead and put my water jugs back in. Let me see the plug. Okay, we're going to see what happens. It's plugged in. Turn the power on. And we're working. I'm going to set this back over by the pellet stove so the pellet stove can then draw the air in, the moist air in, and then send it throughout the house. So I think we're all set.